Listen to the silence you have been running from. That hollow space in your chest. The quiet that feels less like stillness and more like a vacuum. You have been trying to fill it with noise, with frantic activity, with other voices, with the low, constant hum of worry. You have been searching for peace in the places where peace is promised but never found. In resolutions, in agreements, in changed circumstances. And you have returned empty every time. You are here now because the search is over. The peace you could not manufacture, could not negotiate, could not even imagine, is ready to find you. Today. This is not a gentle suggestion. It is an urgent announcement. Your spirit can no longer sustain the war it has been waging. Your mind can no longer host the council of anxieties that meets there daily. Your body is beginning to speak the language of a soul under siege. I have allowed you to reach this point of exhaustion, not as punishment, but as a necessary surrender. You had to wear yourself out trying to build your own shelter in the storm, so you would finally be still enough to let me lead you to the fortress that has always existed. This message found you in the exact moment between your last effort and your first true rest. You thought you were clicking, scrolling, searching. You were being guided. The same hand that quieted the storm on the sea is quieting the chaos in your soul, and you have been brought to this precise point to hear one truth. The war is over. Not because you have won, but because I have declared it finished. The peace I offer today is not the absence of conflict. It is not a white flag raised to your enemies. It is a deeper, more ancient reality breaking through the surface of your current reality. It is the bedrock beneath the earthquake. It is the unwavering constant in the variable storm. You have been living in the weather. I am calling you down to the bedrock. You feel the weight of this, don't you? The seriousness. This is not a platitude to make you feel better for an hour. This is a surgical strike on the very foundations of your fear. To give you this peace, I must first expose what has been stealing it. And that process will require courage. It will require you to look with me at the hidden things, the agreements you've made with anxiety, the loyalty you've shown to chaos, the perverse comfort you found in the familiar turmoil. You have believed that your vigilance is what holds your world together, that if you stop worrying, everything will fall apart. That is a lie. Your worry has no power. It only has the permission you give it. Today, that permission is revoked. I know why you are afraid of the quiet. In the silence, you hear the echoes of every disappointment, every failure, every voice that said you were not enough. You have been running from the courtroom in your own mind, where the prosecution never rests. You have been your own greatest accuser, but I am not in that courtroom. I never was. I am in the quiet place behind it, the place your soul has been longing for, the place where verdicts are not shouted, but where identities are whispered. And what I whisper over you is this: mine. That word is the end of the war. It is the source of the peace. Today you will feel peace like never before, because you will finally understand that it was never something to be achieved. It is a person to be received. It is me, and I am giving myself to you, not as a concept, but as a living, breathing presence that will displace the fear that has taken up residence in your spirit. This will be a confronting peace. It will demand you lay down your weapons. It will ask you to trust a strength that is not your own. It will feel at first like a terrible vulnerability. To stop fighting goes against every instinct you have cultivated for survival. But you are not surviving anymore. You are being summoned to live. And it begins with a stillness you can finally afford. Take a breath. The first real one in a long, long time. The explanation for the chaos is coming. The reason for the long silence is next. The peace I bring today comes with clarity. And the first thing I must make clear is this: your exhaustion is not a sign of failure. It is the signpost. It is the indicator that you have been fighting the wrong battle, with the wrong weapons on the wrong battlefield. You have been trying to calm the storm. I have been trying to calm you. There is a difference, a profound, life-altering difference. One leaves you at the mercy of every new wind. The other places you in a center that cannot be moved. For you to understand this peace, you must understand why I have allowed the storm. This is the difficult truth. The chaos has not been your enemy. It has been the revealer. It has been pressure applied to the precise points of your soul where you were trusting in something other than me. Your own ingenuity, your own resilience, your own carefully constructed plans. The storm was not sent to destroy you. It was permitted to expose what could not survive in the deeper waters I am calling you into. Think of the nights you lay awake, orchestrating solutions in your mind. Every scenario played out, every conversation rehearsed. You were building a fortress of thought, brick by anxious brick. I was watching, and I was waiting for you to tire of the construction, waiting for you to see that the fortress you build in fear will always have walls thin enough to hear the enemy outside. It will always be a prison of your own making. My silence during those nights was not indifference. It was the deepest form of respect. I was respecting your choice to try it your way. I will not shout over the noise of your own efforts. I wait for the pause. For the moment your voice breaks from the shouting, and in the ragged breath that follows, you have no more words. That is the space where I speak. You have missed my signs because you were looking for interventions, for me to part the sea, to stop the storm. But my most profound work is not in altering circumstances first. It is in altering perspective. I have been placing within you, piece by piece, a new lens, a lens of eternity. The worry that consumes you today is viewing your life through a pinhole of now. I have been patiently, slowly, widening the aperture. Why couldn't I explain this earlier? Because you would have argued. You would have said, first, fix this, then I will have peace. You would have made my peace a transaction, a reward for your compliant circumstances. But that is not peace. That is a ceasefire with life, contingent on life's good behavior. It is fragile. It is a false peace, and I love you too much to settle for a counterfeit. The peace I give is unconditional. It exists in spite of. It flourishes in the middle of. It is not the light at the end of the tunnel. It is the light you carry through the tunnel. And you were not ready to carry it. You would have used it only to see the walls more clearly, and you would have panicked at their closeness. You had to learn to walk in the dark, holding only my hand, before you could be trusted with a light that would illuminate the path for others. So the delays, the silences, the unanswered prayers, they were not rejections. They were the necessary incubation period for a peace that is mature, durable, a peace that has roots deep enough to withstand the drought you fear is coming. Human impatience seeks the immediate calm. Divine timing cultivates the unshakable anchor. I have been cultivating an anchor in you. The anxiety you feel is not your own. It is the vibration of an old world passing away. It is the rattling of chains that are already broken. You are feeling the ghost limb of a burden you are no longer meant to carry. You keep reaching to adjust a weight that is no longer on your shoulders. Today I am making you aware of the absence. I am making you feel the space where the weight used to be. That space is holy. That emptiness is my preparation for a fullness you cannot contain. But to feel it, you must do the one thing your fear screams against. You must be still. You must cease the mental planning. You must drop the rehearsal for battles that are not yours to fight. I am not asking you to understand how I will resolve your situation. I am asking you to believe that I already have. In the realm where I exist, your victory is not a future event. It is a settled fact. The peace I offer today is your first conscious experience of that settled fact. It is you. leaning into the reality that is more true than the chaos you see. The storm may still rage for a season, but in the center of it, something is changing. You are. And from this new center, a calm will spread. It will begin within you. Then it will begin to change everything. Now we come to the heart of the matter. The reason your peace has been so elusive, so fragile. You have been seeking it in the wrong kingdom. You have been looking for peace in the kingdom of outcomes, in the realm where circumstances bow to your will, where people act according to your hopes, where the world makes sense, follows just rules, and rewards good intentions. You have been a citizen of that imaginary kingdom, and its constant state is war. It is a kingdom that does not exist, and your allegiance to it has been the source of your torment. Today, I am transferring your citizenship. The peace I bring is not of this world, because it does not originate here. It is not reactive. It does not spike when things go well and collapse when they do not. It flows from a source that is untouched, unmoved, unthreatened by the chaos of this realm. It is my own presence, and I am inviting you to dwell there, not as a visitor, but as a permanent resident. This is the inner transformation before any external change, the migration of your soul's dwelling place. You have felt like a stranger here. You are right. You are. You have been trying to make a home in a world that is, by its very nature, temporary and unstable. You have been pounding tent stakes into sand during a hurricane, bewildered when the shelter keeps collapsing. I am leading you to the rock, not to visit, to live. This is why everything felt so confusing. You were receiving instructions for life on the rock while you were still trying to pitch your tent on the beach. The instructions made no sense. Be anxious for nothing? Impossible, when your home is one high tide away from being washed away. Pray with thanksgiving? Unthinkable when you are counting your losses. My words were not flawed. Your address was. The beautiful confronting truth is this. Your greatest pains have been the eviction notices from that false kingdom. Every betrayal that showed you people are not your source. Every failure that proved your own strength is insufficient. Every dead end that revealed your plans were too small. These were not random cruelties. They were mercies. They were me, dismantling your investment in a kingdom that was always destined to fail you, so you would finally turn your eyes toward the one that cannot be shaken. You missed the signs because you were reading them as rejections. They were invitations. You thought I was silent, when I was speaking most clearly through the collapse of the very things you were asking me to bless. I could not explain it, because you would have fought to save them. You would have clung to the very chains I was trying to break. You loved the idea of peace, but you were in love with the drama of your own struggle. It had become your identity. The one who overcomes had become the one who is always battling. There is a difference. One comes from a place of settled victory. The other comes from a place of perpetual crisis. I am severing you from the identity of the warrior who never rests. I am calling you into the identity of the child who knows the battle is their father's. This will feel like a death. It is. It is the death of a self that believed it had to control, to manage, to fix, to earn. That self is drowning in the sea of its own efforts. Let it go. Do not dive back in to save it. The peace I offer will first feel like a profound disorientation, a quiet so deep it will be loud. You will not know what to do with your mind when it is not strategizing. You will not know what to do with your hands when they are not grasping. This is the sacred space, the void where I create anew. In this space, you will begin to hear the truth that brings clarity, not fear. You will see that your life is not a problem to be solved. It is a story to be lived with me. The pressure you have felt to figure it all out, it was never from me. I never asked you to figure it out. I asked you to follow me, one step at a time, into a peace that passes understanding, because it does not come from understanding. It comes from surrender. So today, the first concrete experience of this peace will be a simple, staggering realization. You are not in control. And for the first time, that truth will not terrify you. It will relieve you. It will feel like laying down a burden you were never designed to carry. The burden of playing God in your own life. The performance is over. The curtain is drawn. The real director is here, and he has been here all along. You can rest now. The role was too heavy for you. It was always meant to be. This is where the confrontation deepens, and the comfort becomes real. The peace I am bringing will now touch the most tender places. The wounds you have been protecting, the memories you keep in locked rooms, the versions of yourself you have disowned. This peace is not a blanket to cover them. It is a light to enter them. You have believed that peace means the absence of pain, that to be at peace, the past must be neutralized, the hurt must be numbed, the scars must fade. That is not peace. That is anesthesia. And it wears off. I do not offer you a drug. I offer you a healing. And healing requires feeling. It requires the courage to let my presence touch the very thing that has been stealing your peace for years. Today, you will feel peace like never before because you will, perhaps for the first time, feel seen. Truly seen. In the darkest corner of your story. And you will not be met with recoil, with disappointment, with a sigh of divine impatience. You will be met with a recognition so profound it will dismantle your shame. That thing you never speak of. That failure that echoes in your private silence. That choice that haunts you. That pain you think you deserved. I am walking you back to it. Not to condemn you, but to reclaim that ground. The enemy of your soul has marked these places as his territory. He has posted signposts of accusation there. He uses them to launch invasions into your present, to steal your peace, to remind you that you are, at your core, unworthy of calm. Those signposts are lies. Today, we are pulling them down. This is why the peace has been delayed. You were not ready to revisit these battlefields. You thought they were grave sites. You thought the only thing to do was to avoid them, to build a detour around your own history. But a detour is not a healing. It is a diversion. And as long as that ground remains surrendered to the lie, it will always be a source of poison, seeping into your present. My timing is not cruel. It is precise. I have been strengthening you. I have been building a new identity in you, brick by brick, so that when you finally turn and face that old pain, you will not see it with the eyes of the person who endured it. You will see it with the eyes of the person I have made you. You will not see a victim. You will see a survivor. You will not see a failure. You will see a student. You will not see a sinner abandoned. You will see a child who was lost and is now found. This is the peace of reclamation. It is the peace that comes when stolen property is returned to its rightful owner. Your joy, your innocence, your sense of safety, pieces of your soul were taken in those moments. I am giving them back. The process will feel heavy. Sacred things often do. You may weep. Not the tears of frantic worry you are used to, but the deep, cleansing tears of release. Let them fall. They are part of the healing. They are the water washing the wound. You have asked, why didn't you stop it? Why did you let that happen? Those questions have been barriers to your peace. You will not find peace in an answer that satisfies your mind. You will find peace in an experience that satisfies your soul. The experience of me, here with you, in the memory of it. I was there. I did not prevent the pain, but I contained it. I set a limit on its power to define you. I was gathering every tear, not as a record against you, but as evidence for a future trial where I would prosecute the lies that grew from that pain. That trial is today. I am presenting the evidence of my faithfulness. I am showing you the ways I shielded you, even in the middle of it. The person who did not show up to hurt you further. The inner strength that emerged you didn't know you had. The fact that you survived at all. These were my fingerprints. You missed them because you were looking for a dramatic rescue. I was performing a slow, meticulous preservation. Now in this piece, you will see them. And the narrative will change. The story will shift from I was alone and destroyed to I was wounded, but I was carried. I was hurt, but I was protected in ways I couldn't see. The event does not own me. My God owns the narrative. This is the peace that comes from integration, from bringing the shattered pieces of your past into the present light of my love and watching them become part of a mosaic, not a debris field. They become part of your testimony, not your tomb. It is a severe mercy to look at the pain, to feel its echo, and then to feel a stronger, deeper, more solid wave, my peace, wash over it, not erasing it but enveloping it, transforming its meaning. This is how endings lead to purpose. The end of your shame becomes the beginning of your authority to speak freedom to others. So today, as you feel this unfamiliar calm, know what it is. It is not indifference. It is not forgetfulness. It is sovereignty. It is my sovereign love, declaring that every chapter of your life, even the ones written in suffering, will now serve the purpose of your wholeness and my glory. The war for your past is over. I have won it for you. You are free to leave the battlefield. Take my hand. Walk with me out of that place. You do not have to live there anymore. Now we arrive at the present moment. The peace you are beginning to feel is not a destination. It is a frequency, a new wavelength on which your spirit is now meant to operate. Your task is not to grasp it, but to tune to it. To let your entire being resonate with the truth that is now being broadcast over every lie. It is finished. The anxiety you feel is an old signal, a static from a station that is going off the air. It is the last desperate broadcasts of a kingdom you have left. Do not mistake its noise for reality. The louder it screams, the more you must know its power is broken. A threat that must be shouted is a threat that has already lost its bite. Today, you will feel peace like never before because you will make a conscious choice. The choice to inhabit the truth. You have been a visitor to peace, dipping a toe into its waters when circumstances allowed. I am calling you to plunge in, to submerge, to breathe it in, to let it be the atmosphere of your soul. This will require a discipline of attention. Your mind has been trained for war. It scans the horizon for threats. It rehearses disasters. It lives in the future, which is a realm that does not exist, and it borrows trouble that may never come. This is not wisdom. This is theft. You have been stealing pain from an imaginary future and paying for it with the peace of your present. That ends now. I am not asking you to be irresponsible or naive. I am asking you to be present. With me. Here. In this breath. The future is my domain. Your domain is this moment, this trust, this step. When you hand me the fiction of tomorrow's worry, I hand you the reality of today's grace. The exchange is always in your favor. You will feel a resistance to this. The part of you that believes vigilance is love for your family, for your future, for yourself, will protest. It will call this peace recklessness. It will whisper that you are letting your guard down. That is the final stronghold. The belief that your worry is a necessary sacrifice, a protective ritual. It is not. It is an insult to my care for you. My peace is your guard. It is the garrison around your heart and mind. It stands watch not with human anxiety, but with divine authority. Your worry has never once added a single hour to your life or solved a single problem. It has only subtracted joy, stolen sleep, and clouded your vision. My peace adds. It adds clarity. It adds strength. It adds a quiet mind capable of hearing my guidance. So today, when the old thought comes, the what if, the how will, the but then, you will not entertain it. You will not argue with it. You will acknowledge its presence, and then, with a deliberate act of your will, you will turn your inner gaze to me. You will say, "This is your concern. I receive your peace instead." And you will feel the shift, a loosening in your chest, a quieting in your mind. This is not positive thinking. This is spiritual reality. You are choosing to align your spirit with the finished work of my Son, where every debt is paid, every enemy is disarmed, and your place is secured. You are choosing to live from victory, not for victory. The practical matters, the bills, the relationships, the health, the decisions, they will not vanish, but they will be translated. They will move from the category of threats to my survival to the category of matters for my Father's provision. You will approach them from a foundation of peace, not a precipice of panic. And from that foundation, your solutions will be different. Your words will be different. Your very presence will bring a calming influence to the chaos around you. You will become a peace bearer, not because you try, but because you are full. This is the final internal change before the external shifts. The world around you must conform to the spirit within you. As you stabilize in this peace, the frantic people may calm in your presence. The impossible situations may find unexpected pathways. This is not magic. This is the natural order of my kingdom influencing yours. A calm center changes the storm. So in this moment, I ask you to practice, to rehearse the response of peace. Breathe in. As you breathe in, receive my peace. It is a gift, already given. Breathe out. As you breathe out, release the need to control the narrative, the outcome, the opinion of others. You are safe. Not because the world is safe, but because you are in me. And I am the only safety that exists. The rest of your life begins from this quiet center. Stay here. The work is done. The peace you feel now, this deep, resonant, unshakable calm, is not a temporary state. It is your new native language. It is the sound of your spirit finally harmonizing with mine. The dissonance that defined your inner world for so long has resolved into a chord that will now sustain you for the rest of your journey. You have crossed over from a life of seeking peace to a life of being peace. This is the beautiful, mysterious outcome of everything you have endured. The silence, the confusion, the battles you thought were pointless. They were all preparing a space in you. A chamber in your heart that was once filled with the echo of every alarm, now cleared, sanctified, and occupied by my presence. I am not a guest in this chamber. I am its purpose. And from this settled place, you will now live and move and perceive all of existence. Do not be alarmed if the world seems different. It is not the world that has changed. It is you. You are seeing it from the inside of my peace, rather than from the outside looking in. What once triggered panic will now trigger prayer. What once caused despair will now cause a deeper leaning into my nature. You are not numb. You are powerfully, potently alive in a way that fear could never allow. This peace is your compass, your shield, and your proof. It is the compass that will guide you in decisions that once paralyzed you. You will know the way, not because all the facts are clear, but because the chaos within has stilled, and in the stillness, my gentle nudges are unmistakable. It is the shield that will deflect accusations from others, from circumstances, from the enemy. They will not penetrate to the core of who you are, because your core is now hidden in me, wrapped in a peace that declares the verdict before the trial even begins. Justified, beloved, safe. It is the proof to yourself and to a watching world that I am real, that my promises are not poetry, but substance. This tangible, unexplainable calm in the middle of your storm is a miracle more convincing than any sudden escape. It is a miracle that dwells within you. So, what happens now? You live from this place. You will learn its contours. Amen.